Welcome to AG's Ace. After India's superb and terrific victory in the second test in Chennai against England, there are a lot of questions being raised internationally by former cricketers and commentators, and they're raising issues about the state of the pitch. Some of them have openly said that it was a substandard pitch, unfit for Test cricket. Some players like Kevin Peterson, called it a beach. Simon Hughes, a former, who is a current broadcaster, former player, basically said that India should be docked a few points in the World Test Championships. So a lot is being said, but I want to begin from the point, which is that can you keep the pitch equation out of cricket? Because this is a line which was used by Team India coach Ravi Shastri overseas after one of India's fantastic victories, where he said that we keep the pitch out of the equation, which means that your team is good enough to play and win anywhere internationally. But is it so? Because there are various dimensions involved. Now, Ravi Shastri proudly declared that the pitch can be kept out of the equation, which means if the team was very good, it did not matter whether the pitch was bouncy, grassy, or a crumbling one. All that mattered was if the side had the right talent to play and win anywhere in the world. That is all that mattered. But is this true? Indications are the pitch does matter and it cannot be kept out of the equation, which is what I would like to believe in. Now, if India is being accused of doctoring the Chennai pitch, the Australia and South Africans are known to have hard bouncy tracks and favoring their own fast bowlers. England, as we all know, they have conditions which favor swing, where the pitch again plays a role, which is used so brilliantly by their own bowlers, primarily so in recent years by a gentleman called Jimmy Anderson. However, the state of the Chennai pitch has been the biggest talking point of late, with some even calling for India to be docked points in the World Test Championship as a result. Now, let's begin with a few reactions which I've lined up. One is, of course, Aussie Test legend Mark Waugh called it unacceptable, while former England captain Michael Vaughan described it as a beach. Waugh noted on Twitter, "You can't have the ball going through the top of the surface on day one from the main part of the pitch. Is that not from the footmarks?" Vaughan sort of prefaced his grievances by declaring he wasn't making excuses for England, but claimed the pitch was not fit for a 5-day test match. Now, this one has been a turner from ball one. England should have bowled India out for 220, no different between spinning or seaming, and Rohit showed how to play on the surface, he said. Shane Warne's comments, of course, triggered a heated debate, a back and forth, and it was primarily between him and Michael Vaughan on social media, with the former England captain unwilling to accept Vaughan's analysis. Simon Hughes, like I said earlier, he called for India to be docked points in the World Test Championship in response to the pitch uproar. Yet, Ravi Ashwin, who did such a superb job, denied there were any demons in the pitch. He said time again there are conditions which will challenge you, be it spin or seam, and that, I believe, is the magic of Test cricket. Now, if the ball is moving around at 145 to 150 km and takes off the deck, that has to be more challenging than someone bowling at 85 to 90 kilometers when the ball is spinning. Clearly, the challenges are way greater than when you come up against spin, Ashwin said. Now, Ashwin also spelled out what he thought should be the batting approach on such tracks. He said, after hitting his 100, that you have to give it to the bowler, bide your time, and then probably cash in on it later is just another form of art. Now, interestingly, following the defeat in the first test in Chennai, the Indian Cricket Board removed its curator, who was to oversee the pitch preparations at the Chidambaram Stadium for the second test. Now, this is important. Chief local groundsman V. Ramesh Kumar, who hadn't prepared a pitch even for a first-class game before the first test that India lost to England, was assigned. He was given the crucial task of preparing the pitch for the second test, for which black soil was used instead of red. Another interesting point I've dug out is that the BCCI curator Taposh Chatterjee of Central Zone was sent off immediately after the first match and instead tasked to oversee the preparation of pitches for the Vijay Hazare Trophy matches. Now, this is a strange development considering that the BCCI panel of curators has 4 others besides Chatterjee in the elite panel. Ashish Bhomik, who has prepared the Motera wicket for the third and fourth tests against England. Prashant K, Sunil Chauhan, and Prakash are the other names. Now, it is a surprise that no BCCI curator was at the spot, as the BCCI sent back Taposh after the first test when players showed their displeasure with the way the pitch was behaved on the first 2 days. This came from a known source and it was reported in the media. Of course, that source remained unnamed. Again, over the last 15 years, the Chennai pitch has attracted a lot of attention due to lack of grass and its weird behavior due to the mixture of red and black soils. Now, this is where the soil comes into play. And you have to focus a little bit here that the pitch for the second test was also a mix, with its topping being of black soil, while the one used for the first test was entirely of red soil. How does it behave? It behaves differently because black soil, according to experts, has more clay content. Clay particle is the smallest in the soil. The more the particles, the more water it will hold. But the red soil has more silt and has more wear and tear as it gets dried and breaks easily for spin. It doesn't hold water. So it depends how you are mixing up the soil. And if you want a crumbling track, it can be, like they say, curated, ready-made for the team in question. Couple of points I want to make is that no matter what Ravi Shastri said, that can the pitch be kept out of the equation, for us it does not matter. Firmly, you've got to believe that the pitch does count, and it counts for a lot. Second point, the pitch is generally curated to suit local teams. Now, that is an undeniable truth. Most teams do it, so there's nothing to shy away from. It is what they call home advantage. Third point, international teams need to adjust and not carp about it. So if you are an excellent player of fast bowling and then suddenly you come to the subcontinent and on crumbling tracks, you have to play spin, well, then you try and improve, try and adjust and learn new tricks, which is what Test match cricket is all about. One quick example would be the great Sunil Gavaskar, who was one of the best technicians while facing fast bowling of a very high order, minus any headgear at his point in time, was an equally brilliant player of spin. And his last knock in Bangalore is still talked about against a very high quality Pakistani spin attack. It's still talked about at a very high level, and what a magnificent performance it was. So it just shows that a batsman has to be multifaceted to cope in different conditions. That is why it's called Test cricket. Then, if a pitch is declared dangerous, then that is another matter. There have been instances where matches have been called off in the past, so you've got to be wary of that. You can't have really, pops of soil coming off when a fast bowler comes into play. It can seriously hurt a batsman. Now, that is a different call. And lastly, no, you can't keep the pitch out of the equation. Thanks for watching.